Good morning, students. We will continue our discussion. In last class, we have discussed about distance time graph, and today we will discuss about velocity time graph. Another important topic. So, velocity time graph are of three types. First, when object is in uniform motion. Velocity time graph in case of a uniform motion. So when motion is uniform, it means the first thing that the object covers equal distances in equal interval of time, isn't it? So in that case, the velocity is constant. In case of uniform motion, velocity is constant and there is no acceleration. So if you will, since velocity is constant, so acceleration is zero. So the graph will be a straight line parallel to time axis. I am reading this topic from NCERT book, page 105, velocity time graph. The variation in velocity with time for an object moving in a straight line can be represented by velocity time graph. In this graph, time is represented along x-axis. So in the last class also I tell you that time is independent quantity and we always take time on x-axis. And the velocity is represented along y-axis. If the object moves at uniform velocity, the height of its velocity time graph will not change with time. It will be a straight line parallel to x-axis. For example, suppose a car is moving with uniform velocity of 40 km per hour. Suppose a car is moving with uniform velocity of 40 km per hour. So if you want to represent this situation graphically, you have to draw x and y axis. So this is x axis, this is y axis. We always take time on x axis, and now we will take velocity on y axis since we are talking about velocity time graph. So you can mark the time. Suppose this is 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, like this. Here also you can mark 10 meter per second, suppose, or we have taken, or take the SI unit. For example, you can take it as a meter per second. So take meter per second. So it will be 20, 30, 40, like this. Now if you want to draw a graph, so object is moving with uniform velocity. Velocity is constant. Velocity is constant, it means in first second the velocity is 40 meter per second. In second also velocity is same. In third second, in fourth second, there is no change in velocity. So if you will draw a graph will be like this. It will be a straight line parallel to time axis. So it shows at first second the velocity is 40 meter per second. In second also velocity is 40. In third second, similarly, velocity is 40. So in this way, if you will mark the point and join the points, you will get a straight line parallel to time axis. So if the object is moving with uniform velocity or a constant velocity, the height of velocity time graph will not change. So you will write height of VT graph will not change if object is moving with uniform or constant velocity. Uniform velocity or constant velocity, same thing. So this is very important point. Now I am reading further, right side second paragraph. We know that the product of velocity and time gives displacement of an object moving with uniform velocity. The area enclosed by velocity time graph and time axis will be equal to magnitude of the displacement. To know the distance moved by the car between time t1 and t2, using figure 8.5, draw perpendiculars from the points corresponding to the time t1 and t2 on the graph. The velocity of 40 km per hour is represented by the height AC or BD, and time t2 minus t1 is represented by the length AB. So the distance S moved by the car in time interval t2 minus t1 can be represented as AC into CD. So suppose now they are talking about the use of this graph. So what is the use? Now you all know that velocity is equal to displacement by time. So product of velocity and time, therefore velocity into time will give displacement. Isn't it? So in this graph, you can also calculate the displacement in a particular time interval, because the product of these two things will give displacement. So we can calculate displacement from VT graph in a particular time interval. So mark the points. Suppose these are the points A and B. You want to calculate the magnitude of displacement between these 2 points. So you have to draw perpendicular on x-axis, and as you know, x-axis represents the time axis. So suppose these are the perpendiculars, they cut the time axis at this point, at point C and D, and let these are the time intervals t1 and t2. So if you have to calculate displacement, between you have to calculate the displacement between time interval t1 and t2. Then if we represent displacement by letter S, then it will be AC or BD into T2 minus K, like this. So displacement between these two time intervals will be equal to this height AC or BD. AC or BD represents the velocity, which is fixed because velocity is constant in this case. So AC or BD is 40 and time interval T2 is how much? 3 and T1 is how much? 1. So it will be 40 into 2, so 80. So 80 meter is the displacement. In this way, you can use this graph to calculate the magnitude of displacement. And if you will look at the result, you will find that simply we are calculating the area of figure is equal to area of figure ABCD. So this area is giving the magnitude of displacement between the points A and B. So this is one use of velocity time graph. When object is moving with constant velocity or uniform velocity, it means motion is uniform. Now when we will discuss another type of velocity time graph where acceleration is uniform. So now second type of velocity time graph. Second one, when object is moving with uniform acceleration. It means velocity is changing. Velocity is not constant here, but velocity is changing at a uniform rate. So let us take an example. A table is given in your book. I am reading the last paragraph, page 105. We can also study about uniformly accelerated motion by plotting its velocity time graph. Consider a car being driven along a straight road for testing its engine. Suppose a person sitting next to the driver records its velocity after every 5 seconds by noting the reading of the speedometer of the car. The velocity of the car in km per hour as well as in meter per second at different instant of time is given in the table. So look at the table 8.3. The time is given after an interval of 5 seconds. After every 5 seconds, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, like this. And then velocity in meter per second is also given. So first take an example of this table. Time is given in second, and yes, so draw the table in extreme right side. This is time in second, and then we have velocity in meter per second. Let the time is 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like this. And the velocity is 0. It starts from 0, 36, suppose the table is like this, and you have to draw a velocity time graph according to this table. So again we will take time on x-axis, and velocity on y-axis. So time in second, and velocity in meter per second. So mark the time 0, velocity is also 0. This is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and equal is this. And on this side you take the velocity. So now to take the intervals. Suppose this is 10, and this is 20, this is 30, and this is 40, or 45, and so on. So first, when time is 0, velocity is also 0. Then when time is 5 seconds, velocity is 9. So you have to divide this distance into 10 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 will be somewhere here. Then 18. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18, 19, 20. So 18 will be somewhere here. So 18 at 10 seconds, velocity is 18. Then at 15 seconds, velocity is 27, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So 27 it means, so that here then 36, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So 39, 36 is here. So at 22nd, 36. In this case, children, if you will mark the points and then join these points, this time also you will get a straight line, but this straight line is not parallel to time axis. It is oblique, it makes some angle with the time axis. So joining these points, like this, with the scale you will draw, you will get a straight line. So this is the nature of graph. So you will find that the graph is a straight line, but it is not parallel to time axis. It makes some angle with the time axis. Here the velocity changes by equal amounts in equal interval of time. So here acceleration is not zero, isn't it? In previous graph, if you will find the slope of the graph, you will find slope is 0. So it means acceleration is 0. I am reading further on page 106, first paragraph. In this case, the velocity time graph for the motion of car is shown in figure. The nature of graph shows that velocity changes by equal amounts in equal interval of time. Thus, for all uniformly accelerated motion, velocity time graph is a straight line. So, conclusion is that Vt graph will be a straight line when object is moving with uniform acceleration, when velocity changes uniformly. Now what is the use? What we can calculate from this graph? So as you know that ratio of these two things, it means velocity by time. This ratio will give acceleration, because acceleration is equal to velocity by time. So from this graph you can calculate acceleration. You can also calculate displacement that we have discussed earlier. That is true that we can also calculate displacement. So but we can also calculate acceleration. Now the second paragraph, you can also determine the distance moved by the car from its velocity time graph. The area under velocity time graph gives the distance moved by the car in a given interval of time. If the car would have been moving with uniform velocity, the distance traveled would be represented by area ABCD under the graph. Since the magnitude of velocity of the car is changing due to acceleration, the distance traveled by the car will be given by the area ABCDE under the velocity time graph. So, if you want to calculate the displacement in a particular time interval, suppose we have to calculate displacement between these 2 points, isn't it? So in last uh, case, when the object is moving with constant velocity, we have also calculated the displacement. And I tell you that when you have to calculate displacement in a particular time interval, or if you are choosing a particular point in the graph, then you have to draw the perpendiculars on x-axis. Let these perpendiculars cut the x-axis at point C and D. You can also mark the time interval as T1 and T2, isn't it? So we have seen that area of figure ABCD in the last case gives the magnitude of displacement. So here also you can calculate the magnitude of displacement if you draw a perpendicular here. So AB DC, you can mark this point as E, or make it like this: A, B, C, D, and make it E. Then it will be cyclic length. So you have to calculate area of this shaded portion to calculate the magnitude of displacement. So in this case, first use we can calculate magnitude of displacement in a particular time interval. So magnitude of displacement, as you know, this quantity is represented by small s letter. So we can write S is equal to area of figure A, B, C, D, E, isn't it? So area of figure A, B, C, D, E, and this figure is divided into two parts. You can see from here, from the graph, that there is a rectangle ACDE and there is a triangle ABC. So we can write the area of figure ABCDE is equal to area of rectangle ACDE plus area of triangle ABC, isn't it? So area of rectangle, as you know, length into breadth, so it will be BD, or AC is the length and breadth is AE or CE. Plus area of triangle, as you know, half base, so base is AC and height is BC. So ED is how much? ED is 20 minus 10. ED represents time, and A is how much from our graph? AE is 18 plus half AC. Again, AC is 20 minus 10, and how much BC is? So you can mark BC this side also. Let it is B1 and B2. So V2 minus V1. So V2 minus V1 is 40 minus 20. So if you will simplify, you will get 10 into 18 plus half into 10 into 20. So after simplification it will be 180 plus 2 5s are 10 and 100. So 280 meters. This is an example how you can calculate the magnitude of displacement from this graph. Now another use, that is second use, I think it is clear to you. Now the second use is we can also calculate acceleration from this graph. We can also calculate acceleration from VT graph. So if you have to calculate acceleration, suppose you want to calculate acceleration between point A and B, isn't it? So acceleration is equal to change in velocity. So this BC represents change in velocity and divided by the time table or the time interval. So time interval is from this AC or ED represents the time interval. Now this is how much. This can be written as V2 minus V1, and AC or ED can be written as 20 minus 10 time interval. So this can be written as, you can also write first T2 minus T1. Now it will be 40 minus, oh it is not 40, V2 is how many? V2 is I think 36. So it will be 36 and V1 is 18 and T2 is 20 and T1 is 10. So it will be 18 by 10, so 1.8 meter per second square. So this is another important use, that we can calculate magnitude of acceleration in any time interval. For example, we have to calculate, suppose, the acceleration between points A and B. We have chosen these points. We have to draw perpendicular on x-axis, that is on time axis. Let the perpendiculars cut the time axis at point E and D. So E and D represents the time interval. At the same time, the object has increased its velocity from 18 to point B, it means 36. So change in velocity is represented by this BC. That's why we have written V2 minus V1, and the time interval is T2 minus T1. So if you will find the difference and divide it, you will get the acceleration. Now there are variety of velocity time graphs. There are so many types of velocity time graph. Two more diagrams are given in your book, figure 8.7a and 8.7b. For example, in 8.7a, the velocity is uniformly decreasing. So this is an example of uniform retardation, isn't it? And in second case, the velocity is non-uniform. It means the acceleration is not uniform. The velocity sometimes increases, decreases like this. So in case of non-uniform acceleration, you will get a zigzag graph, and the first one is for uniform retardation. So this is all about the different types of graphs and their uses. Now you must solve these questions given in NCERT book. I think last class we have discussed some of the questions. For example, page 107, question number 3 and 4. Page 107, homework, question number 3 and 4. Those who have not done it earlier, I think now the concepts are clear if they watch the video carefully and listen to me, and then they are able to solve these questions. Some questions are given at the chapter end, in the chapter end exercises. So question number 6 and question number 8, you also solve these questions. Page 112, 13, page 112 and 13, question number 6 and 8. So try to solve these questions and send it to me on Friday evening in my WhatsApp number. Okay children, in next class we will discuss another important topic, that is equation of motion by graphical method, how we can derive these equations. Thank you.